Welcome back to Coffee with Erica. Coffee Talk. I think that's what I'm calling it. Today, I'm really excited to be drinking this yummy coffee. My setup's a little different. Your location to me is the same, but I have my mic in a different location, and actually my computer just like right here because of the location of the mic. Also, so I've done a like makeshift easel on my desktop, and it's kind of attached to my desk. It's like taped down, and I can't really move it. So I can't really put my arm there because I've got like something there. So it's a little bit weird. I kind of don't know what to do with myself. That's okay. So I think we're gonna settle in with like something kind of like this. This is only my second time doing this. I haven't quite figured all this stuff out, but for me, it's more important to make these consistently than to have everything perfect, right? So I'm here. I am making this. It's Monday, the 19th of October. How are you today? I'm pretty good. I'm feeling happy, I guess, is the right word. I look like skeptical. I'm not. I'm feeling good. Last week was really good. It was the first week of executing some of the shifts that I've been wanting to do. So I thought I would start by giving you a little bit of an update of the stuff that I accomplished last week, and then some of my thoughts on other things. So the first thing is I finished a few paintings, some smaller illustrations as well as a bigger painting. I have been working on a series of card ideas. They're going to be holiday or thank you cards. I think they're going to be customizable so you can choose what you want it to say. So it'll be a basic card design, and then you can choose, like, if it's a holiday based one, you might be able to pick Happy Holidays, Merry Christmas, Happy Yule. I currently have 5 designs for those done, painted and photographed and ready for me to digitize and turn into card designs that I will then print onto cards. So I'm working on that, but I got them all painted, or at least 5 of them painted. And then I also worked on a moon painting that was based on the moon tarot card. One of my favorite parts about it was being able to add all this symbolism. So I was really excited because I love using things like symbolism and astrology and mythology and just anything that I can add symbols into what I'm doing or have stuff represent other things. That is awesome to me. That's super ideal. So the way that I designed this whole thing was with a lot of the symbolism that came from the tarot card itself. I've got these wolves on 2 sides. The original tarot card design has towers and then wolves in the front, like howling at the moon. And so instead of doing the towers, I actually turned the wolves into statues. It's a wolf and a dog. So it represents like our wild side and our, society, civilized side, I guess you would say. And then the 2 towers like mirroring each other is almost like a portal. It's like you're entering into this other world, which I really love that symbolism. And then I have a pond at the base, which represents the moon's connection to water and life and this balance of earth and water. Above the moon, I have I have the moon phases that are kind of like really subtle in the night sky, and those just represent the cyclic nature of the moon itself. And I have a little crab in the bottom corner, and that represents the astrological sign Cancer, because Cancer is ruled by the moon, so I felt like it needed its own position there. And then in the night sky, I have both Cancer and Pisces. Cancer, again, ruled by the moon. Pisces is actually ruled by the tarot cards. So there's connections to the zodiac signs with the tarot cards themselves, the major arcana cards. And so Pisces is connected to is ruled by the major arcana moon tarot card. I hope that I explained that well. But basically, all of this symbolism and all of these little things are added together to create this piece. And I really wanted it to feel a little bit fantasy, a little like not quite here, a little otherworldly. Yeah, I'm obsessed with it. I love how it turned out. It's now a print in my shop, and the original is available as well. It's funny because I actually tried to do something different with this video series. I was like, oh, it'd be really cool if maybe while I did my coffee talk, instead of just sitting here and talking to you, I was painting. So a couple days ago, I was finishing up that painting and I was like, ooh, I'll sit down and do that. I'll sit down with my painting and I will paint while I talk. And it was a giant disaster. It was like I couldn't focus on either of them. And so what ended up happening is I was just distracted and I was not making any sense when I was talking. I was repeating things over and over again, and I was muddying up sections of my painting because I was trying to fix them, but I couldn't really focus on it. And by the end, I was like, oh my gosh, screw this. This is not working. I did it for like an hour. So I have the footage. This is so f***ing hard.
What?
I can't talk in any kind of like make sense way and paint at the same time.
Maybe get the painting footage and then overdub it.
Yeah, and then what happened was I talked for probably 20 minutes and then I realized that I forgot that. My camera stops every 12 minutes. It's an older DSLR, so it records really nicely, but it only records for 12 minutes at a time. So I have to like stop it and restart it all the time. But with the way that I had my setup, I couldn't see that it was stopped. This happens a lot when I'm filming myself painting things. I'll just get into my painting and forget to like restart the camera. So I did that and I was talking and painting for like a while, probably 20 minutes. And then I realized that I had not turned on the camera and I was like, this is just not working. So I gave up and now I'm trying this again. I guess I just wanted to make this video more interesting. I think that's one of the things I'm struggling with most is, should this be interesting, like entertaining, right? From in a like adding extra clips and doing more stuff to it perspective, or is it enough to not? I don't have the answer, and I'm probably going to try a few different things over the course of the next few weeks as I do these, but for now, I'm just going to sit here and talk to you and throw in extra clips periodically when I have them, but this is just what it's going to be. I hope that's okay with you because I can only do so much, you know? So, let's get into the subjects. I don't know. I'm really bubbly today. I'm just going to go with it. One thing that has been really nice over the last week is I feel like I have a lot of momentum. I feel like I am in this place of like stuff happening, and if I can keep up with that momentum, then I can, keep things happening. By making these videos and putting them out each week, I'm building momentum, not only in growing my business, but also just for myself. Like, I am continuing to do things. The more I do, the more momentum I'm building. And what has happened is back in June, I had a ton of momentum. My social media was growing like crazy. I was pushing forward. I was getting a lot of sales. I was putting out new work, and I built this momentum not only for myself, but also for my audience, right? Like, everybody was excited about the next thing I was creating, and there was a lot of momentum. And then I did the art show that I had in the art show that I had in August, and I lost my momentum. It kind of triggered this position of shifting and changing my direction a little bit and feeling a little lost, feeling a little unsure. the series that I did for it, while I love it, and I love the pieces that I came up with, the reason it was that series is because that's what I had kind of set up and agreed to from the beginning. That's how I sent it. And so I already had pieces that were going towards this, and I needed to keep with the series, right? But I feel like that it created just enough space in my momentum that I lost it completely. I stopped posting consistently on social media. I was working on these paintings, but I wasn't working on anything else. So I lost momentum with journal stickers or anything else. I hadn't gained a lot of momentum with making videos. So that went out. I was filming. I have hours and hours and hours of footage from July and August and September that I don't know how I'm going to use yet, or if I will use it. I'm just kind of hoarding it. It was this loss of momentum that happened in August and September that kind of contributed to what I talked about in my last video of feeling like I was lost, feeling a little bit unsure of how to proceed. Sales were kind of slowing down, and that was discouraging. And I was like, well, how do I move forward? And I feel like I've regained this momentum to start moving forward in maybe a different way. But part of that is also coming with, well, how do I want to move forward, right? What do I want to create? Do I want to try new things? Do I want to try to paint in different styles? Maybe pushing what I've been doing. I do a lot that's kind of more realistic. Realistic isn't really the right word because it's not super realistic necessarily. Detailed. And it's kind of a little bit more realistic. It's not like photo realistic at all, but it's based on real subjects and real things, and that's great. I love it. But just trying to figure out, do I, try different things? Do I try a more cartoony style just to see how it goes? If there's a time to try new things, maybe it's now, when I'm just regaining my momentum and I'm trying to figure out my next steps. I don't know if that makes any sense, but it's something that I am kind of thinking about as I am moving forward. What do I want to do with this? Where do I want to go? What kinds of things do I want to create? And giving myself permission to create whatever I want to. So if I want to try something different, trying that. Or one thing that I don't do often and I would like to challenge myself to do is painting the same subject matter or thing over and over again. Not identical, but painting. So like, for instance, I did this cloudy galaxy kind of painting recently, and I did 2 of them. And so they're in the same style, but they're just both a little bit different, right? Playing around with that but pushing it to do 6 or 10 pieces that are similar, and not necessarily complex, detailed pieces, but maybe that's a way to practice or a way to challenge my approach to something. I'm obviously still trying to figure it out, and I think that's the reality. I'm always trying to figure things out, but it's something I'm feeling really good about. It's something that I'm really excited to try. This week, I'm going to see maybe what I can come up with, maybe do a few different things. A while back on my Instagram, I painted a mushroom in like 6 different styles, and that one was really fun. I think I'm going to do another one of those with a different subject, but I painted them in 6 different styles, and I put it out there like, which one do you like best? And it was really fun to see what other people thought, but it was also really interesting for me to paint the same subject, the same mushroom, and the same everything in these different styles. And I think that is a way to kind of push my style, to push and grow and to keep exploring and creating the things that I want to create. So that's something I'm pretty excited about, and I'm feeling like the momentum I have right now is kind of pushing me in that direction of try things, make stuff. Maybe it won't all be something that I can sell, and that doesn't matter. That's okay. I just need to keep going and creating and pushing the envelope and doing new things. So I think that that's somewhere I want to start this week for sure. What's next? More coffee. So the next thing I have on my notes is my challenges with social media that I've been dealing with and moving forward in that. And I don't know, my challenges with social media. I have a love-hate relationship with social media. My income is directly impacted by my social media usage. If I post consistently on social media, I tend to get more sales, more engagement, whatever. But I don't like social media all that much. If it was like an ideal world, I wouldn't be on social media. That's not totally true. Maybe I would, but I don't want the pressure. I like social media, I guess, as a whole, but I also would love to like unplug and just not have to worry about it and just create. But that is not my reality. So I have this love-hate relationship. I think social media can be so cool. I get to see and connect with people all over the world, and that's something that I live in a small town. Like, I can't just go meet people from New Zealand or Australia or Canada or, the UK. I am a little bit limited in my connections because of where I live. So social media has been able to open up those doors, which has been awesome. But it takes a lot, right? Like, social media is a job. It takes so much time to curate and create content. And I'm constantly battling between aesthetic and reality. I value aesthetic. I love when a feed looks gorgeous on like Instagram. Because I am an artist, the visual is important for me, whether I'm using Pinterest or Facebook or Instagram. Instagram is my most used one. So I'm constantly trying to battle this because I like to show you guys the reality and to be authentic and honest about my journey. And yet I also have to think about the algorithm and how I post things and how I share and what works and what doesn't. And it's exhausting sometimes. This balance of authenticity, it's a challenge for me. I can very easily get caught up and feel like I am no longer, or I'm not being truly authentic, or I'm not, showing the process enough or whatever. And it's like, I'm overthinking it completely, right? There is also this element of getting caught up in the numbers, the likes and the comments, and losing sight of the connection. And that is something that I've really been working on because, my numbers fluctuate so much. For the last week, my numbers have been going down. Like, not necessarily how many likes and comments I've been getting, those maybe, but my followers have been like pretty substantially going away. And it doesn't matter. It's not just about the followers, and I know this, but there's this mental thing of like, oh my gosh, what am I doing wrong? Like, oh, what do I need to change so that doesn't happen? And I have to keep catching myself and being like, chill, Erica. First of all, if people don't want to follow you, like, cool, that's fine. Don't follow me. That's fine. I'm not offended if people unfollow me. It's not like I'm offended that my numbers are going down. It's like this connection between my success and those numbers, and having to check myself all the time to say those numbers don't dictate whether or not a painting is good, or whether or not I'm successful, or whether or not I am on the right path. That I can't equate my personal success with how well it does on social media, because there are so many factors that will impact whether a post does well or not. So much of it is luck. There's the algorithm, but honestly, like, you can't really play it. I will use hashtags one day and they'll do really well, and my post will reach a ton of people through hashtags. And then the next day, it will literally be seen by 5 people. And I'm like, on hashtags. And I'm like, I don't understand what's different, because I'm not using things that are banned or anything like that. It's just not shown on hashtags for whatever reason. And I can't control that. Once I create a piece and I put it out and create a post, I cannot control what happens to it. I can do my best, but then it's out there and what happens happens. So I'm working on creating, not only just for myself, this separating success with how successful a post on social media is, but also looking at the overall foundation of where my customers come from, like how to connect them. I've been doing my email list. That has been great. I guess the whole thing is I have relied on Instagram up until this point, and I need to shift away from that. So social media is a pain, but it's also amazing. And I go back and forth between when liking it and not. So one thing I'm trying to do is schedule posts. I've not been very good at it. I haven't had a lot of new work yet. So I'm feeling a little bit like I'm just repeating old things, which is important to share old stuff. But I feel like when I'm only sharing older paintings, it gets a little bit dull or boring, at least for me. Maybe it doesn't for you, but for me it does. Like, I just can only say so many things about something. It's kind of this weird place of this momentum, like I was saying, of creating new stuff while simultaneously needing to still be consistent on social media, but I don't have the new stuff to share yet. Stuff does not take only a day. Some things can, but generally speaking, I can paint something, and to make it into a card, there's a whole process that goes along to it. There's painting it and then digitizing it and then cleaning it up digitally and then moving on to printing it, and I have to test print it and all of that, and then I have to photograph it, and then I have to put it in my shop so that it's available for sale when I post it, because again, momentum. When people see it and they want it, I want it to be available for them, as opposed to in the past I've been like, okay, cool, like this will be here soon, and then by the time it's there, they don't care anymore, especially for little things like a card or a sticker. They're more impulse buys, and if people have to think about them, they will move on. They'll just forget. I have no idea where I'm going with this. So essentially, I am in the process of trying to figure out where to go next with everything and to keep the momentum that I'm already building. The other thing, this is unrelated entirely from business, but if you made it this far, cool, thanks. I know these videos are really long, and that's just what it is. I thought about breaking them up or something like that, but that's just not the point of this. So I'm not going to try to not be something I'm not, which is short-winded. I am long-winded. I talk a lot. So that's me. Anyways, on a completely different note entirely, I have been binge watching Mars on Netflix, and I'm obsessed with it. One thing I think I'm going to do, and maybe I'll try to do this next week for next week's, is I want to talk about not just business. I know some of you guys follow me for the art updates, and I think that's awesome, and I want to do that too. But I am very interested in things like TV, movies, video games, all of that. And so I could nerd out on Skyrim information for hours, or Dragon Age, or TV shows, or movies. I could literally geek out on them forever. And I want to be able to include that. And I don't yet know how I want to do that. I may do some of these that talk about other things than just my art business. I just want you to be prepared. Because I have been binge watching Mars. I started Raised by Wolves, and I watched the first episode, and I was like, this is weird. It was just everywhere, and I haven't gone back to it, but probably will at some point. We watched all the Matrix movies over the weekend because we were kid-free, and we definitely cannot watch those with her around because that would like totally screw with her mind. Not appropriate for children at all. But we watched those, and that was really fun. So my family has been doing these movie nights. We do these weekly movie nights where we take turns. They're not weekly, they're daily. They're almost, I would say 3 to 4 days out of the week we do a movie night. And we will sit down and we take turns choosing the movie. We just kind of are stuck watching whatever the other person feels like watching, right? So it'll be everything from my daughter's obsessed with Hamilton so we've watched Hamilton and Hamilton related things. We eventually moved away from just movies, and we've done TV shows too, because sometimes we can't pick a movie we like. We've done everything from Star Wars to musicals to Aqua Teen Hunger Force to just all over the place. It's very fun though, and it kind of challenges us to choose something that maybe we wouldn't normally watch. We've also turned a few things on and been like, no, I don't think that's a good idea. But that's been really fun. And then we have a weekly game day every Friday, where the day I cut work in half. I don't work the whole day, and we don't really do much with homeschooling, and instead we just have family game time. We do things like we've done Exploding Kittens, we've done For the King is a fun one. This last week, we literally just watched try to guess this song videos on YouTube and stuff like that, which was funny. Yeah. So that's been really interesting, and I feel like I go through spurts when I'm painting if I watch something. I love to watch foreign films and TV shows, but I can't watch those while I paint because they're not in English. So if I'm painting and trying to watch something that's not in English, I can't follow the story. So I have to just like sit and watch them. So that's been something a lot of the shows on my lists aren't in English, and I've binged all the stuff that is in English. So I'm trying to find the balance in that, because there's a lot of shows that I really want to watch, but I have to just sit and watch them. Like, I can't do anything else. I don't yet know how I'm going to balance my time. I think that's my biggest struggle, is balancing time, is making time for all the things that I want and still getting enough sleep. Because I could certainly watch late and then wake up early, and I would be miserable and probably a little cranky and not as bubbly as I am today. So I want to, in these, also talk about other things that I'm interested in, and not just business. I think that the business stuff is really awesome, and I love to talk about that too, but it's just not all I'm interested in. And if I'm going to sit here and talk to you for like 30, 45 minutes, I might as well just talk about some of the things I'm really interested in. So maybe next week, I'm going to try. The hard thing, this is one of the things I'm trying to figure out, is if I do talk about a show, I want to be able to include like clips or stills from the show. So that does take a little bit more production as far as a video itself goes. So right now I'm on the schedule of, it's Monday, I'm filming this, you'll probably see it tomorrow. That kind of turnaround isn't possible when I have other footage I need to create and find. So I will be trying to figure that out this week, figure out how I want to do it, and we'll see if maybe it's a next week thing or maybe it's not. I don't know. I think that's kind of the end of it. It was great to get coffee with you today. Thanks for joining me here in my studio so that I can, just talk to you. I'd love to hear your thoughts down in the comments. It's been really cool to hear how people connected with last week's video. Also, I would love to hear what you guys are watching, because I always need new things to watch. So I'd totally be curious about that as well. But thank you so much for joining me. Just like last week, I'm going to go microwave my coffee because it's now cold, and I pretty much drank none of it during this nice little coffee talk. I will see you again next week. Bye.